Hey guys, what's up? iPenguinPat here, and today we are talking about the next event coming out in Forge of Empires. That's right, we're talking about the 2021 Halloween event. Now, before we get into this, I would like to ask, please, if you find this video to be helpful at all, like, subscribe, and share with your friends because it helps me out a lot. So with that said, let's get right into it. So at first glance, the main thing to notice is that this event follows previous years where we are battling our way through the fog to find pumpkins and lanterns in order to get prizes. Better quality pumpkins give you a higher chance of winning prizes, and we are doing this with candles, flashlights, and lanterns. This is just like the archaeology event, and if you're not familiar with this minigame, you can either check the archaeology event or the previous 2020 event for the Halloween event for how to maximize going through this minigame, because this is a minigame that is well documented and covered in how to do. So with that said, just as a reminder, if you are not familiar with this event, there are different ways to buy the individual items, and the best option out of all of them is to buy the big bundle where you get 20 candles, 8 torches, and 8 lanterns for basically 400 tickets. That's just a way better deal. Now with that said, the candles are actually pretty cheap at only 10 tickets a pop. So there are times where it actually makes sense to buy candles only, but that's about all I would buy individually. Either buy the individual candles or buy the big pack. That's it. Pretty much anything else and you are playing in a suboptimal way. That's about all I have to say about the mini game because, like I said, you can look that up. But I have other things to talk about which I think are quite exciting. We do again have the toy collection as in previous years, and this year I will say that the toy collection is not nearly as exciting. The prizes from these are not particularly good. Yeah, they're just not that great. So that's a little bit disappointing. In previous years, we did have like the Royal Marble Gateway, which was obviously a terrific building to have available. So these aren't particularly great. However, keep in mind that as you go through these, you do end up picking up tickets, which will of course let you buy more currency. So you still want to pick up these when you see them because they will help you out to uncover and blow up more of the fog and to get more prizes. So let's talk about what everyone really cares about, the prizes. And let's start off with the new buildings because, well, that's what we do here. So this new set, the Circus Horror Set, is, well, there's no other way to put it. It's just awful. It's so bad. I have spent time using Mooing Cat's building setup to try to figure out the best ways to organize this thing to have better attack, and there's just no way to make this thing good, right? And the other thing that's really interesting about this is that this set does not have any population at all, which I think for a beginning player is actually one of the more useful stats on a set. That extra population makes it so that beginning players can get rid of their regular housing and they don't necessarily need to build an innovation tower or another great building to cover their population needs when they're getting started. So that's an extra disappointment from this. You don't even get that from this set. The one thing that this set does offer that's allegedly good is the defense boost for attacking army, and we will look into the configurations for this to see what the best we can pull off is. But I'm not so much disappointed about that because there are other things to look at, right? That is literally, that might be the worst prize that's come out this year and maybe even last year. It's so bad. But what is exciting is the prizes for daily specials for two reasons. One of the best things Inno has done is they have given us the possibility to switch prizes, and this switch prize list pool is terrific. Now we're going to look at what we saw in beta, and keep in mind that things can and do change often from beta to live, so we can't bake on anything. But it was really exciting to see. We have the House of Horrors selection kit, which is obviously amazing. We of course have our obligatory Sentinel Outpost level 1 and upgrades. We have the Abandon Asylum selection kit, which the Abandon Asylum is definitely good for those players who are trying to have a nice balance between attack and forge point production. And then we also have this Royal Marble Gateway And I believe I saw the botanical rotunda in here as well. So yeah, there's the rotunda. So this event has all kinds of potential for cranking up your attack using daily specials. Not so much the grand prizes because those are garbage, but the daily specials for this event look to be awesome. Now you can definitely bank on the House of Horrors selection kit coming up, and one thing to keep in mind is that the House of Horrors level 1s have been showing up in the antique dealer for almost a year now. And that means that really you probably are only going to need 5 of these instead of 6, or was it 7? I don't even remember, to max this out. So that actually saves you an extra cost over some of these other items. And I was being able to pick the House of Horrors level 1s up really cheap in the antique dealer just because they're kind of useless until you get the selection kits. Let's just be honest. The other thing is, for beginning players, don't sleep on this Dark Doorway, because the Dark Doorway gives you 3 forge points in a 9 square footprint, and 3 forge points from a single daily special is better than any of these bad boys. So that is actually something that is really great from this event. So let's go ahead and consult the Spreadsheet of Madness and see how all of this stuff stacks up. So as we look at this, we can see that obviously our Sentinel Outpost is going to give us the highest attack per square, especially when you factor in road. It's always a win. The big downside to it is that the attack per item is only 2, and that's not that much. So it's really optimal only for players who are already, their whole city is kind of full and they're looking to max out every little nook and cranny of their city, so to speak. Then we're looking at something like the Royal Marble Gateway, and here's the Botanical Rotunda as well. I'll highlight that. So now these two are really interesting pieces because they give you a huge boost on a per item basis. What I mean by that is each event, I usually expected to get anywhere from about 10 daily specials per event. So that means that you have to keep in mind that if you need, say, 6 upgrades or 6 selection kits or 7 selection kits in order to, or 9, depending on what it is, to complete a building, you run several risks. One, you run the risk of falling short and not fully upgrading your building. And then the other thing is that you just may not get as much on a per item basis as you would like, So here with the Abandon Asylum, this is really nice. You get a really nice 11 forge point collection from this, so that's really good, right? But you're only getting this 2.7 attack per item, which is significantly inferior to the House of Horrors. And yeah, the House of Horrors doesn't give you as many forge points, but who needs forge points when you have attack, right? So the Royal Marble Gateway and the Botanical Rotunda are kind of useful in the sense that you get more attack per item. Now, let's look at the Horror Circus Set, all right? And as we look at this, one thing that we have to keep in mind when we are trying to put together optimal sets is how many pieces are you going to be able to collect in order to put this set together, right? Because we can build these fantastic, crazy sets, but if you're only going to get like 9 pieces of this set, there's only so much you can do. So I'm going to borrow this from Mooing Cat. Now this is not mine, this is Mooing Cat's. He put this and created this, and it's a really clever sheet. And basically what this sheet does is it gives you an estimate of how many daily specials you'll get based on the way that you approach the minigame. If you approach the minigame where you just skip the lanterns and you are focused exclusively on going for pumpkins, which give you the daily specials, as an estimate, he is projecting that you will get roughly 12 daily specials and roughly 9 circus kits. And of course, that's also including if you have the event surprise box from the fall event. If you don't have the event surprise box, then you can drop this down to 8 circus kits. And then in the event that you go exclusively for the light bulbs and you're trying to go for everything, then you're looking at about 13 of the circus kit pieces, but you only get 7 daily specials. So what can that get us? What can we do with 9 pieces? What can we do with 13 pieces? And what's the best overall set piece? And this is what I came up with. Now this one right here is right at 9 pieces, and that's because you want to have some of these upgraded to level 2 in order to get the most attack per square. Now also keep in mind right now, this isn't currently updated, and I'm sure it will be by the time this goes live, but here you see this is marked as attack, and it's not actually attack, it's it's defense for attacking army. So we're just going to look at the total, and we can see here that over these 25 square piece, which is kind of a strange shape as well on top of it all, we're only getting 16 attack, which is only, I mean, it's 0.64 or yeah, 0.64 attack per square, which is really low for an in-game player. Now, if you were a beginning player and you're just trying to get started up, that might be helpful, but that is really low if you are an advanced player, especially if you are in like any of the space ages, and even in future, that's really kind of lackluster for where we're at in this stage of power creep. Now, bumping up to a slightly bigger set, we have this one that's 16, which is a little bit more than what you can get for free just going for it. And at that point, we're looking at getting about 32 defense for attacking army, which is not quite 0.7 per square. And at that point, it's not awesome, but it's getting respectable. And one thing to keep in mind with this set is that the bonus that you get is not age dependent, so that does make this attack a little bit more valuable at an earlier age, but as you age up again, your other buildings that scale up are going to pass this so fast. And then what I found to be, this is the best configuration I could come up with. Somebody may be able to come up with something better. Played around for a few minutes, and that's what I got. And I got up to about 0.75, well, not about, exactly 0.75 attack per square, and that's just, again, it's okay for a beginning player, but that also requires 22 pieces. That's a whole lot to invest in trying to get this set that's not really that great. And frankly, I think that it would be a much better investment to go for the daily specials. All right, so let's look at this modified version of Mooing Cat's spreadsheet. Now, one thing that I did was I added just a little reference point to kind of give players an idea of how they want to approach spending their tickets and what they want to go for and what makes sense for you. Again, if you're an early age player, you may choose to do something different. But let's say for our daily specials, we come over here and we say, all right, we're going to go ahead and get a fully upgraded House of Horrors Wolf and then maybe a couple of botanical rotundas. That's going to make our daily special average of 7 per item. And then we're going to use that little set that I came up with here, this guy here. And how much attack is that going to give us? And we can see that we stand to gain 84 attack from daily specials. We would get 16 from the Circus Horror set, and that gives us 100 total. Whereas if we focus on going for the Circus Horror set kits, then we're only going to get about 50 from the daily specials, which will give us about. Now also keep in mind with this that there could be some limitations with respect to, again, getting your fully upgraded building. That might actually change what daily specials you go for depending on what you're doing here. You may be more inclined to skip out on the items that require upgrades in order to go for the bigger hits at a time, like the Royal Marble Gateway and the Botanical Rotunda, provided they come up and don't get taken out. Definitely have a contingency plan about what you're going to get if those don't show up within the first half of the event with your daily swaps. So with that said, it looks like here, at least to me, that there's clearly an advantage of going for pumpkins only for this event. You get basically 30% more attack for the whole event if you go for the pumpkins only rather than going for all rewards and going for the extra bulbs and going for the circus kits. All right, so that, to me, that seems like a no-brainer. Two quick final thoughts before closing this thing down. First is that we do have the calendar in this event. However, because the grand prize in this, that Circus Horror set, is such trash, I don't see any value in trying to take advantage of the calendar. What you get from maxing out the calendar just doesn't really ring any bells or seem like it's worth the time and the effort and the cost in order to get it. That's one to skip on. The second thing is also keep in mind that if you do get all of the toys, you do get a nice bundle of items and a really cool avatar. Now again, this is completely based on luck from the standpoint of you don't really have control over which toys show up, and you can end up getting hosed by never getting the good toy. But that's definitely something to keep in mind, that it is worth it to pick up those toys because they can end up giving you a big bundle, which is definitely a huge boost to what you can do in this event. Alright guys, I think that's all I have to say for this event. I will be leaving a link in the description and in the pinned comment with instructions on how to max out your minigame, how to spend your tickets, how to use your lanterns and your lamps and all of that kind of stuff, because that's what we do. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Come visit us on Discord, like, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.